as soon as my thing saves here. We are live on the Off the Top Media YouTube channel, and it is now time for the table spot portion of the show. So stay tuned. We are going to talk about the show after the show. We're going to talk Evolution. We're going to talk about Saturday night's main event. The table spot starts now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Table Spot. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, with the man with the best beer in the business, the host of The Boom every Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite. My co-host here every Monday night for the Table Spot, Mr. Cam G. Cam, how you doing on this wonderful Monday evening?
I'm doing fantastic. Ready to talk about some Monday Night Raw.
Yes, we're going to talk Monday Night Raw tonight. We're going to talk Evolution happening on Sunday. We're going to talk Saturday night's main event. So a couple things to discuss here on the Table Spot. Appreciate everybody who stuck around after the watch along for Monday Night Raw here for the Table Spot version of the show. Thank you so much. And for those of you who joined us for the full watch along, or even half the watch along, or even for just a match, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. We had some people from all around the world watching tonight, Cam, which is awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. The watch along just keeps growing each week, and we appreciate everybody who is helping us do that. Before we do so, I want to ask everybody to head over to the Table Spot RCR over on YouTube. It is our YouTube channel. Me and Cam do some recorded content for you guys. You can go check out right now. We do LFG reactions. Go check out those videos. A fresh one just got posted today, so you can check that out. And all the ones that we've done in the past. We also have some other content for you guys that we are going to be recording. So, but Cam, let's get into it. Let's get into talking about Monday Night Raw that happened tonight from Providence, Rhode Island. And Cam, as I always ask you, if you were to grade tonight's show, what would you give it?
I give it a D+.
Okay.
Like I said, it just, I think another run-of-the-mill Monday Night Raw. Rinse and repeat, I think, with a lot of stuff they gave us tonight. They provided us with a little, tidbits of difference here and there, but for the most part, it was pretty much the same formula you would expect from Monday Night Raw.
So, Cam, I know you've been to plenty of Monday Night Raws. You've been to Anthony. Thank you so much for subscribing. Definitely appreciate that. Again, we have so much recorded content that's going to be coming for you guys to check out. It is a fairly new YouTube channel. So thank you for joining, subscribing, and helping us build that YouTube channel from where it's at now to where we're hoping to get it to. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a D+ too. I do. Tonight's show, it doesn't feel like they really got to where, it doesn't feel like they move forward with much of anything. It really doesn't. Like, from the opening segment, I even said during the opening segment, I was like, they accomplished what they are looking to do tonight, but there was really no moving forward as far as storylines. Like, Seth Rollins didn't talk about LA Knight that he's facing on Saturday night's main event. We'll get into that. But then the other guys, it was like, oh, we're just going to talk about our match tonight. They came out to try and make a point on what they're going to do tonight, but not moving forward. But the one thing that they did talk about that kind of didn't catch me off guard, but really something that we haven't heard in a while was them talking about Roman Reigns. We haven't seen or heard about Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns was mentioned tonight during that segment. So, Cam, let's talk about that opening segment. Seth Rollins and the crew came out. Again, they just talked about their matches that were going to happen tonight, what they expect to do. But then we did get the mention of Roman Reigns. What was your thought of this opening segment?
Well, first of all, I thought it was interesting, just by the mere fact that, I initially thought it was just going to be another Seth Rollins, opening promo. But to see Braun Breaker really be the one to kind of speak up, and he has been speaking up here the last couple of weeks.
See you later, Fawn. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you for checking out the stream. But to really see that, he was kind of taking up the reins and taking the lead on this one, and really kind of speaking up, so to speak, was interesting. It provided something a little different, I guess. But I guess if I had to make a assumption with this group, each individual member has their own, I guess, personal missions, I guess, within the group. Braun Breaker is set on taking out, Sami Zayn. Obviously, Seth Rollins is focused on winning, cashing in to win the world championship, and then whatever Bronson Reed's going to end up doing. So it was interesting. It was interesting to get something a little different here with this promo, to hear from the other members of the group, because they relatively have been silent ever since, pretty much joining this group. So it's interesting to see that they have some kind of personality. They have some kind of motive, I guess, being aligned with Seth Rollins. But other than that, I mean, I'm still very confused and still kind of scratching my head as far as the direction of this group. We still don't have a name yet. So I don't know. I mean, again, Paul Heyman, throwing out another word, maybe the Empire is going to be their name. I don't know, but who knows? I don't know.
I mean, the Empire, as cool as that sounds, I don't think it fully. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know if they. I'm still with you on the name that they should go with as the Dangerous Alliance, and that's just that. What just happened?
I'm pressing buttons. My bad.
Oh,
ignore me. Yeah, pressing.
Okay.
Buttons.
I'm like, I didn't do nothing. I was about to bring up a comment that we got real quick. We did get a question in the chat. Do you guys think, and I think we can answer this one pretty fairly quickly, that's why, and then we'll go back to the Seth Rollins ordeal. Do you guys think that Gage will show up and spear Gunther after the match of Saturday Night's Main Event? No. If he's not contracted, so here's the thing, is Dominic Mysterio, when he first came in and got physical and everything like that, he was contracted. There'd be no reason for Gage to come in and get physical, because if he gets hurt, they could be facing a lawsuit. Who's Gage? Gage is the son of Goldberg. No, Cam,
I was confused on who Gage was too. For a second.
Yeah, no, he's the son of Goldberg. That's who he is. I don't think so at all. I don't think Gage gets up, because Gage is also in a situation to where I think he's a senior in high school now. And he's a football player. Like, he's a big time football player in Atlanta for high school, I think, unless he's already in college. I don't know. I know he was hit. Last time I heard about him, his sights were set on college football and he was going to start playing, but I don't think he gets involved in anything. Getting sick of the El Grande Americano bull crib. I mean, Chad Gable being out right now, we have our speculations of it being Kaiser. When Roman comes back, does he come back by himself with a new stable, or does he make a new version of the Bloodline? I think he comes back on his own. We had somebody in the chat earlier mention about Roman Reigns coming back at Saturday Night's Main Event, and I got that question of, do you think he comes back at Saturday Night's Main Event? I don't think it's too out of the realm. I know there's a lot of rumor about him coming back at SummerSlam, but I don't think it's too out of the realm of him coming back at Saturday Night's Main Event, because we got Cody return at Saturday Night's Main Event. And if Roman comes back at Saturday Night's Main Event during, let's say, Seth Rollins and LA Knight, then that can set something up for Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. So, Cam, I don't know what you think, but that's what I'm thinking right now, if Roman would come back at Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, no, I think he would just come back on his own. Right now, there's really no indication that he's going to form a new version of the Bloodline or reset the Bloodline of anything, to that caliber right now. But maybe eventually down the line, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how long this run's going to be for him. But right now, I think he definitely has his sights set on, I would assume, Seth Rollins. Otherwise, I don't see why they brought his name up in the first place in this promo tonight. So they're obviously starting something there. So Roman, I think he'll be back sooner rather than later. So
yeah. I mean, I'd said about him coming back and the Bloodline kind of falling back in line, but him having a newfound respect for somebody like a Jey Uso and what Jey has accomplished over the past year: Intercontinental Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, possibly a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion come SummerSlam. I think it would be a totally different Bloodline. But when you look at it right now, Jimmy, who's doing really not too much on SmackDown, Jay's having his success, and the way that Solo Sikoa is, every time Solo Sikoa brings somebody in, he kind of pushes them away. And I think it would get to the point where Solo kind of falls back in line and becomes, Roman's hitman in a sense, like he was before. And that's what I mean by the Bloodline falling back in line with Roman, but a totally different version like a 2.0 version of the Bloodline with the same members, but who knows? We'll have to see come moving forward. First, we got to get Roman back. That's the big thing, is getting Roman back. Do we see him returning as babyface or man, I don't know, Cam. What do you see him coming back as? Do you think he comes back as a baby? Does he come back as a heel? Does he come back as, like, as I always describe, he's not a heel, he's not a babyface, he's Roman Reigns? How do you see him coming back?
I mean, I see him come back as a tweener. I mean, that's basically what he was when he left.
Yeah.
But the people just love him. I mean, you heard it tonight. They're still going to chant OTC. So I see him come back as a tweener, you know, or like an anti-hero of sorts. So yeah, that's what I see him coming back as, really.
I mean, I could see him coming back as like that in between, kind of like what we get with Swerve. Like, he's not a heel, he's not a babyface, he's just Swerve Strickland. That's how I could see him coming back as. I don't see him being playing on the sides of anything. Stone Cold Steve Austin is another great example, Anthony. Yeah, not a babyface, not a heel. He was just Stone Cold Steve Austin. I could see that. So, but again, first we got to get Roman back. And I don't see it being far along the lines of him coming back at Saturday night's main event to set something up at SummerSlam. But right now, as far as it's being rumored, again, don't believe everything you see online or read online. But as far as it's rumored right now, SummerSlam is the focus. So we'll have to see. But yeah, but then later on in the night, we'll stick around with the Seth Rollins crew. The first match that we got was Sami Zayn against Braun Breaker. Sami Zayn got attacked by Karrion Kross at the beginning of this match. During the entrance, Sami, after a commercial break, said that he's good to go. He's fine. Doctor cleared him. Braun comes out. And I think this match lasted a lot longer than it needed to. Braun Breaker ends up picking up the win after 3 spears. Cam, your thoughts on this match?
Well, I think it was really a story building, you know, kind of a segment / match with, like I said, they're building up Braun to do what exactly? I'm not quite sure yet. And then, like I said, they're definitely still, you know, building on Sami Zayn. I'm still sticking to what I said about Sami Zayn. You know, Sami Zayn, you know, goes on this losing streak, and then eventually, somehow, some way, you know, ends up getting that big win that he needs to become the #1 contender for the World Championship, and he eventually wins the big one, which he's never been able to do, which is win the World Championship. So I think they're definitely putting that storyline into focus right now. Love what they're doing with Karrion Kross right now. I was curious to see what they would have done with him after Saudi. So it's great to see that they're not just, you know, shuffling him to the back again, and then he's on Raw for 10 seconds at a time, and then he's gone again. So I like how they're starting to put, you know, something to, you know, tangible, something real together for Karrion Kross. So I'm curious to see how far that goes with him and Sami Zayn.
So One Shot asked, that was the first match. I thought there was a... So One Shot, basically how we do it is like our opening segment we talked about was the Seth Rollins crew. So what we do is we take all the segments that... Basically how we do things here on the Table Spot is we opened up with that segment, the opening segment. So anything that was bundled with that crew, matches, other segments that happen, we just pretty much bundled together and we talk about that. And then we move on to like the next subject. So right now we are on the subject of Seth Rollins' crew. We're going to talk about the matches and all the other segments they were a part of, and then we move forward with some of the other stuff from the show. So we don't do things necessarily in order. It's pretty much bundling all the same stuff together in their own little pockets. Okay. Yeah, I mean, here's one thing that kind of bugged me. No, One Shot, you're good. You do not have to stay quiet at all. We love the interaction. Ask as many questions as you want. We will answer them to the best of our ability. We appreciate you being here. So you don't have to be quiet or anything. Okay? You don't. To ask away. So, so a lot of fans are kind of pushing for Karrion Kross. Pretty much online, Twitter, all that stuff. Okay? It got to the point where now we're seeing his merch being sold in the arena. He got to that step. You go online, he has 3 new shirts out. Karrion Kross is starting to become slightly more of a bigger deal because the fans want him. The way I looked at this match is it lasted way too long than it needed to be. I think it should have been Braun Breaker comes out, spears the shit out of Sami Zayn, and be done. It shouldn't have been as long as it did. To me, that kind of took away from Karrion Kross and the moment that he had. Because Sami Zayn got interviewed before the match. and said his focus is on Karrion Kross, but not tonight. It's on Braun Breaker. Karrion Kross, what's her name? Why am I forgetting her name? Why am I forgetting who Karrion Kross is with?
Scarlett?
Scarlett. Thank you. See, memory. Guys, that's what I mean. Is the older I get, the memory loss, and it happens even in the moments. Scarlett didn't say anything when she was asked the question. Okay? Didn't say nothing. She was like, no, I ain't got nothing to say. But Karrion Kross then comes out and attacks Sami Zayn. That's a moment. That's him making noise. Now Braun Breaker comes out, should have just speared Sami and been done. Made this match longer. I feel like they took away from Karrion Kross. That's how I feel. So I could be wrong, but Cam, can you see crossing a catalyst for turning Sami into the middle ground, because he already has been a babyface, he's already been a heel. So can you see Sami Zayn being like in that middle catalyst? Not a babyface, not a heel, just being Sami Zayn?
Maybe.
Like a tweener?
Maybe, but I don't know what would be the distinct difference between him being a babyface and a heel. I don't think I've ever seen him as a tweener before. It's really with someone the caliber of Sami Zayn, it's always been one or the other, and it's blatant, like it's obvious, because when he's a babyface, he plays up to the crowd a lot, and in the reaction he gets and whatnot have you. When he's a heel, it's obvious he's a heel. So him being a tweener, I don't know what that looks like. But no, like I said, everything that's happening to him right now is all, if you ask me, is building up to him being this underdog and him being this in this rut right now, not being able to win the big one, to win the Rumble, to win the Chamber, to win the Money in the Bank, all those things that give you the opportunity to challenge and be in the main event and challenge for a world championship. He's lost all those. So I definitely think they are building something with something big, with Sami Zayn being that underdog, ultimate underdog that will eventually get his world title shot and win. When that will be, I don't know. I feel like it needs to be on a grand stage, like a Mania, SummerSlam maybe. So who knows? That could be a whole nother year before we see that happen. But I definitely see that happening, and it will be a moment, because I do feel like there's a lot of people that are behind Sami Zayn, such as like a Kofi Kingston, such as a Daniel Bryan. So those guys that were the underdogs that never were really given a fair shake, or who maybe were kept off TV because they weren't looked at as the A guy or the guy handpicked by Vince or Hunter or whoever. So yeah, it'll be that moment where you'll look at it, you look at the crowd reaction, and it'll be like, wow, this is going to go down in history as a ultimate opportunity and a great moment for Sami Zayn.
Look at Drew McIntyre. It took him damn near over 10 years to get to become the chosen one, when he was deemed the chosen one by Vince. Went away, and literally the next day after going away, works an indie show, and Mick Foley's telling WWE, like, hey, keep a lookout for Drew McIntyre. It's like, oh, we just let him go like a day ago. Why do we need to keep an eye out for a guy that we just let go? Well, because he's doing amazing things out on the indie scene. Oh, by the way, he went home to do them too. He went back to Scotland and did it. So, now he comes back and he becomes WWE champion, twice? World champion once, and now he's back again, coming back Friday night after his match with Damian Priest a month or two ago on Saturday night's main event. This is gone for a while, now he's back. And what scene is he in? The main event scene. So, later on, we had Jey Uso, Bronson Reed. Jey Uso, and I wrote this down, Jey Uso wins by DQ via a computer chair. Now, Bronson Reed said that he was going to tsunami the hell out of Jey Uso, to the point where, doing what Braun Breaker did to Sammy, took him out for a while. Well, Bronson Reed nails his tsunami on Jey Uso. We don't know the extent of Jey Uso yet. They didn't say anything on Raw, but I think getting nailed by a computer chair, getting flung at you, I think that knocks you out for a week or two. Your thoughts on this one, Cam?
Again, this was an exciting one for sure. Jay was pretty much getting the better of Bronson in this match, which was kind of surprising. Yeah. I don't know if that was the power of the semi-new attire, I guess.
Jey Uso was whooping his ass at the beginning of this match. Like,
so
my God.
I was definitely not expecting that. I was expecting Bronson Reed to pretty much dominate Jey Uso during the course of this match.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, Seth Rollins' group pretty much dominated throughout the course of Monday Night Raw. Braun Breaker getting a victory, and then Bronson Reed, causing the DQ, but not really. I don't think he was really out to win the match necessarily. He was just out there to inflict pain, which I think he accomplished. Definitely did not see him throwing a computer chair at the head of Jey Uso. I didn't see that coming at all. But hey, it's effective, I guess, if it gets the job done, inflicting pain. So yeah,
it's just so funny hearing that, like just flinging a computer chair. Like, who would have known that turning on Monday Night Raw that you were going to see somebody get a computer chair thrown at them? Who'd have known? But yeah, I mean, again, Jey Uso was whooping his ass at the beginning. What's up, Proto? Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you being here. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Who would have known at the beginning of the night that Jey Uso was going to get a computer chair thrown at him? He was whooping Bronson Reed's ass at the beginning of this match. He was, and that surprised me. I was like, I'm the same as you. I thought Bronson Reed was going to go in there, take care of business, But again, Jey Uso has, got the proverbial rocket strapped to him. You got to at least let him show out a little bit. And for what this match was, I think it was a pretty decent match. Not a bad match on Raw. But it seems like we were getting into the pattern of Seth Rollins' group came out and they planted their flag and said, this is what we're going to do tonight. And up until we got to Bronson Reed, it was like, okay, they're getting successful. But then we get to the main event and it's Penta and Seth. And Penta is a fairly successful guy on Monday Night Raw. Has he lost matches? Yes. He's won more than he's lost. So it's like, could Penta be successful with Seth? Who knows? Great match between these two in the main event, but Seth Rollins and crew complete the journey, complete their quest tonight, and they clean sweep Monday Night Raw. Do you have any thoughts on Penta and Seth?
Not many, but it definitely a different dynamic, I think, for Seth in the ring, for him to challenge Penta. So not a bad match. Yes, Penta is on quite a bit of a losing streak, I would say. So again, I'm not quite sure what the direction of them for Penta right now. Like I said, eventually we got to get the Lucha Bros. I mean, it's going to get to that point where you're going to ask yourself, why not? What else are they doing with Rey Fenix on SmackDown? What are they doing with Penta right now on Raw? Not a whole lot. So, and again, I think it's the shot in the arm that the tag team division desperately needs on either brand. Because right now, they need that one big tag team that just kind of boosts the tag team division. So, and I would love to see them on Raw or SmackDown, depending on what they decide to do there. But overall, decent main event. Like I said, LA Knight, we didn't really get to talk a lot about LA Knight. I loved LA Knight's, vignette talking about Seth Rollins. He looks like money on Monday Night Raw. He's done everything there is pretty much to do on SmackDown. He's won the United States Championship 2 or 3 times over now. So yeah, I could see him as a future Intercontinental champion on Raw. That'd be great. I could see him as a future world champion. At this point, as popular as he has been, the fact that he hasn't held either the WWE championship or the world championship is actually kind of surprising to me. So I could definitely see that. I also wanted to ask you a question about this too. If this feud with LA Knight and Seth Rollins goes on further, how would you feel about LA Knight versus Seth Rollins for the briefcase?
Ooh. Give me 1 second. What do you mean? I've been loving Unmasked Penta on SmackDown with his brother Rey Fenix lately. Unmasked Penta on SmackDown. Penta's been unmasked on SmackDown? Has he been?
I don't think so.
I'll have to look into that.
He says he's joking, though. So I don't know what
he's okay. Oh, my gosh. I was going to say, because if you caught the stream last week, I've admit it. I don't catch SmackDown all the time.
No,
and I miss SmackDown on Friday. Friday was the 4th. I missed SmackDown on Friday. I'll admit that. So
2 hours.
Andrade just joking. My bad. No, you're good, Proto. You're good. You kind of had me kind of shocked because
you had me thrown. I was listening. Too. I was like,
I was listening to Cam's question at the same time, paying attention to what you said, and I'm like, Penta was unmasked.
Yeah.
What happened?
What?
Seth and LA Knight for the briefcase, man. I mean, here's the thing: is we've seen it in the past where the briefcase has been up for grabs in a match result. The Miz took on Otis for the briefcase back during the pandemic. Edge took on Mr. Kennedy for the briefcase back in the day. We've seen the briefcase up for. Would I be for it? Yeah, you know what? I'd be for it. But part of me is telling me right now with WWE, I think feels like they're being successful in the fans' eyes with Seth's group. Okay. I think they're ignoring the naysayers of the group, if that makes sense. And they're just concentrating on the people that love the group, you know, and they're also concentrating on the fact of, you know, literally June 29th was literally 10 years to the day that Seth Rollins was Money in the Bank briefcase holder 10 years ago, you know. Yeah. And like I always say, wrestling in times, and you say this too, rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. We get reoccurring storylines in different ways, done in different forms. And I honestly think that Seth, at the end of the day, whether it's on August 2nd or on August 3rd, is going to walk out as a world champion. Would I be against them putting the briefcase up and LA Knight winning it and becoming Mr. Money in the Bank that way? I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd be okay with it. I would. LA Knight is a freaking star. And should he have been a world champion, a WWE champion by now? Probably. Probably. The hard part is Roman was so hot at the time when he was challenging for it.
Yep.
And they were just getting that world title going on Raw to where having it on Seth somewhat made sense. You know, so should LA Knight been a world champion by now? Probably. But could they put him in that position now, seeing that the world title is not on somebody on whether it's Raw or SmackDown that could dominate for 3 years like a Roman Reigns? They could do it now. That'd be a move. And there's a lot of people saying and speculating that he's going to be the one to take it off of Cena. Because there's not a lot of speculation about Cody coming in at SummerSlam and taking it. There's not. So could he possibly be the one to come in and take it off of Cena? Maybe. And would I be against it? No. Whether it's for the briefcase or not. But back to your regular question, I'd be for it. I'd be for it for the briefcase. I would be. I'd have nothing against it. But Seth and company, they clean sweep Monday Night Raw tonight. So going into Saturday night's main event, LA Knight stood tall at the end of Raw. So we're going to get Seth and LA Knight at Saturday night's main event. We are going to talk about Saturday night's main event in a little bit. We're just going to get through some of the Raw talk real quick. I'm more of a fan of AEW. I'm more of a AEW fan lately, so I might sound a little bit biased, but the truth is that Levesque Produce made me tune away 2 years ago, but I've been trying to return lately. Still waiting on Orton and Cody feud. Been 2 years now. Levesque is afraid to book it. I don't think he's afraid to book it. And Cam, you can tune it to you can give your thoughts on this one as well. I don't think they're afraid to go for Cody and Orton. I don't think they missed out on it. I think they're trying to build something bigger, because this is my opinion, is back when we had Legacy, okay, go to WrestleMania 26. You had Orton take on both Cody and Ted DiBiase in a 2-on-1 match. That was the end of that feud. That was it. That was the blow off. Okay. So now if they go to Cody and Orton now, they're going to be building off specifically their history. Orton trained Cody. Orton helped Cody get to where he is today. You know, the legacy days, all this. They're building on pure history. They're not going to be building on the now, which they should be building on. They should be building on the now, but they're not going to. They're going to build on the history. That's my opinion. So for us to wait for Cody and Orton to do that, even in 6 months, me personally, I'm okay with waiting 6 more months for it, but that's just me. Cam, you got thoughts on that?
To what you said first about the whole AW thing or whatever. For me, I would say pro wrestling in general in 2025 in either company really hasn't been all that exciting. I'm gonna be honest with you. In either company, it's been okay. I mean, is that saying that there hasn't been great matches and great moments and great pay-per-views? Sure, but I think as opposed to this time last year, I mean, it really hasn't been all that great. It's been very spotty. And then of course going over to what you said about the Orton and feud, waiting on that. I mean, they had their match already, part of the King of the Ring final. I mean, it wasn't really all that. It was okay. But I like what they're building because Levesque likes these slow builds. Sometimes it's like, okay, come on, let's get to the point already.
Yeah.
But he likes these slow builds. So I think Orton is slowly but surely turning heel, especially after, if you paid attention to what happened after King of the Ring in Saudi, when Cody's putting over Orton, and Orton's just, I mean, he's like scowling at Cody Rhodes, like in just pure jealousy or like frustration. So you can slowly start to see the old legend killer, or even maybe Age of Orton-esque heel and Randy Orton come back. Because like I said, this whole up to this point, he's been on this whole like honeymoon of him coming back, because he was realistically told he was never going to wrestle again based off of his his serious back injury.
Yeah.
So he came back and he's just enjoying his time, just being back and being able to wrestle again. And I've enjoyed that personally. This is probably going to sound crazy, but I think I've enjoyed this version of Randy Orton more than any other Randy Orton, because he just looks like he's just having fun. And like I said, when I can see that a wrestler is having fun doing what they're doing, I'm having fun with them. You know what I mean? So I've enjoyed that. But yes, I am ready to see a heel Orton, because his best work is when he was a heel, or as a heel, on our TV screen. So I'm definitely waiting to see that. And like I said, I much rather than build, other than just having some King of the Ring tournament, blah blah blah. I much rather them slow build a feud that we can actually sink our teeth into and be invested in with Cody and Randy. Like I said, potentially for the WWE Championship down the line, versus again just some throwaway tournament that's we're gonna forget about in 6 months. So I'm with the slow burn over just the tournament or whatever. So we'll see.
I mean, again, not only that is Orton and Cody, again, they would be building purely off their history. I think if they do a slow build now, they can create a whole new history. They can create a whole new dynamic of the storyline if they would build this slowly and get us to something like a Royal Rumble match, or maybe even build us towards WrestleMania 42. Who knows? I'm just throwing that out there as an example. I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do, or if that's what's best for them to do. But again, Paul Levesque, he's said it time and time again, he's a territories guy. He loved the territories back in the day, Mid-South Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, all that stuff. And what did they do during those territory days? They slow build it. Why? Because guys would come into the territory for a week or two, leave for another 4 weeks, go to another territory because they had to wrestle there. So what they would do is build storylines, in the magazines and by tape trading and all that stuff. That's how they did it. So now we're in the day and age of all you have to do is take this device, make a video, send it, and bam, there you go. You build the storylines. This would be a different dynamic they would have to go with Cody and Orton. Bottom line. By the way, G1 has been posted. Gabe Kidd versus Takeshita. I'll admit that AEW has grabbed me. I mean, AEW is doing a good job for right now. I think this Saturday, and we're going to talk more about AEW on Wednesday for the Boom. Cam hosts the Boom every Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite. We are going to be talking about All In and making our All In predictions on that show. So Proto, more of the AEW talk does happen on Wednesday night on the Boom. So if you want to come join us, we specifically more so talk about Raw and WWE on this show. But come join us Wednesday night on the Boom right after AEW Dynamite. But yeah, real quick, just quick thoughts about AEW. You know what? I'll save it for Wednesday night. I'm not going to talk AEW right now. Let's continue with the Raw talk. Judgment Day. Let's talk about the Judgment Day, Cam. Awesome, Proto. And yeah, well, I'll give more of my thoughts on AEW stuff on Wednesday night when we do the Boom. We talk more WWE stuff here today, but we appreciate you being here and talking Raw with us and giving your input on stuff. We definitely do. Thank you. And the interaction as well. Judgment Day, we've seen them shining up all their belts. Tag team champions on both the men and women's side. The Intercontinental Championship with Dom. I'm not going to lie, Cam. It looked good. I'm for it. I mean, the Judgment Day has been the staple of Monday Night Raw for the past 2 years now. And even with all the changes, the speculations of them breaking up, all that stuff, and they just kept trucking. They just keep trucking, and they're being successful, man. And I'm loving it. I'm for it. Pretty much they had a fucking memorial for Liv Morgan sitting there. And Raquel comes in and says she ain't dead. She's just hurt. What are you doing? Well, that's what it's for. It's because she's hurt. She's not here right now. And we want to remember that she's still with us. Like, that's that. One key thing that Finn Balor said, though, during this segment was, we don't know how long Liv is going to be out. That's what Raquel said. Raquel was like, oh, Liv might be back soon. And Finn said, we don't know how long she's going to be out. He goes, I was out 8 months and then came back. But the difference between me and Liv is I'm tougher. I'm stronger. He's kind of knocking Liv Morgan down a little bit. So, Cam, if you have any thoughts on this, plus Dom and AJ, I mean, AJ Styles keeps continuously, stalking Dominic Mysterio. So do you have any thoughts on this? And if you have any thoughts on the Roxanne and Kyrie match as well, not a bad match, but Kyrie picks up the win on that roll up. I know you hate roll ups.
Well, starting with the match first.
Yeah.
That overall match, it was okay. I mean, it was sloppy at times. I can appreciate that the fact that they're trying to build back up Kairi Sane, basically kind of hitting the reboot button on her with, bringing back the whole, pirate princess thing that they kind of pretty much went away with when she was with Damage Control this entire time. So we haven't seen any remnants of that, until now. So that's kind of cool. They're giving her that spotlight. So that's great. I don't like the fact that, they're doing all that the last couple of weeks and then they're just kind of bringing back the Kabuki Warriors with her and Asuka. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I would just say it's merely for one night, just for Evolution 2, just to fill out that whole Fatal 4-Way for the tag team titles. So if that's the case, I'm fine with it. But I definitely think they should keep Kairi on her own. In terms of the Damage Control, or not Damage Control, but the Judgment Day segment, like I said, to me, I feel vastly different, very, very different about the Judgment Day right now. For me, I think they're part of the problem with Monday Night Raw, because much like a Seth or a Rhea or Finn Balor and JD, I feel like those are their top people on Monday Night Raw that they always go back to. And that brings me back to it's always, rinse and repeat with Monday Night Raw. You pretty much know what to expect with a Monday Night Raw, because they always go back to the same people that are primarily on top. That's why I hated JD and Finn Balor winning back the tag team titles, because I thought, oh, okay, Judgment Day won the tag team titles at WrestleMania. Okay, cool. We're going in a completely different direction, something fresh, something new, with a heel New Day as tag team champions.
Yeah,
they didn't do anything with them. Their whole heel buzz is all but running on E at this point. What they did with them tonight, I hated, because now it's like, okay, are they like the new R-Truths of Raw? Like, now they're going in like a comedy,
with the whole mourning, the loss of the tag belts and everything. Yeah,
it's so weird. I don't know what's happening with the tag team division or what their vision is for that at all. And right now, to me, I think the Judgment Day thing is really realistically being stitched together by, Raquel and Liv. And like I said, and Liv's not coming back anytime soon. So I don't know how long they're really going to keep that up for. Yeah. Or by the time she comes back, is anyone even going to care about a feud between her and Roxanne? I don't know. But I think it'll be a good feud. I think it'll be a good match. But there's gonna have to be something else to really raise the stakes. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a match just because Roxanne did exactly what Liv did to Rhea. And that's pretty much about it. And then of course AJ and Dom. Again, just announce the match already. I mean, I could see this match being for SummerSlam. The whole doctor's note thing is, I mean, again, if you're somebody that gets a chuckle out of that, cool. But like, it's just kind of dumb. Really, realistically, it's just to explain Dom being quote unquote injured and not going to Saudi. So they decided to pick that up and play that out to be a storyline with him and AJ. But eventually, we're going to get to the point where that gets tiresome every single week, and you're going to need to announce the match already. So,
yeah, I'm with you. Announce the match already. Make it for SummerSlam. That gives Dom enough time off. It gives him damn near a month, So, I mean, why not? Just name it for that. We did have a question in the chat, or a comment in the chat. I think Balor will help AJ dethrone Dom, building up a version of the Bullet Club with AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and JD. I mean, again, and here's the thing, and this is kind of my answer to like future plans down the road, is stuff like that. Is it out of the realm of possibility? No, it's not. Why? Because WWE, even though some of their stuff is kind of like, oh, I could see this coming. Just like during the match with Raquel and Kairi, or Asuka, or with Kairi Sane and Roxanne. After the match, we had the post-match attack. And who came out? Asuka. I literally sat here during the watch long 30 seconds before Asuka came out. And I said during that beatdown, I was like, Asuka's going to come out and help her. Nobody else would be connected to Kairi Sane to come out and help her but Asuka. Asuka's going to come out. We're going to get the return of the Kabuki Warriors, and they are going to be in the Fatal 4-Way match. They are going to be the Raw representatives for that Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag team titles. What happens 2 minutes later? Oh, Kabuki Warriors are back. They're in the match. Okay? It's not out of the realm of possibility for them to do like a Bullet Club version with AJ, Balor, and JD. But at the same time, I feel like they attempted to do that back in the past with the club, and to a small extent, it was a fail. You know what I mean? Like, you had your tag team, you had AJ, but where was your other singles guy? Because normally with a group like that, you have 2 singles guys and a tag team. Why? Because one goes for the main championship, one goes for the mid card, the other goes for the tag team titles. They missed out on that with not having Finn involved. To do it now, it'd be basically being put right back into that situation. JD and Finn are that tag team that seems like they're on point with each other. Is Finn out of the realm of possibilities of winning a mid-card title? No. Is JD? No. But AJ Styles, and Cam brought this to my attention the other day, that AJ Styles signed a 1-year contract and he's going to be done in 2026. So why start something like that now? You would have to go through that real quick. And your old school Bullet Club fans of AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and everything like that would want to see more of it, and we'd be getting less of it. You know what I mean? So, Cam, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, so recently AJ Styles signed a 1-year extension. So I think he'll be done after 2026.
Okay.
But 2026, I think, will be initially his last full year as a full-time wrestler as a part of the WWE roster. So I mean, I could definitely see it. I mean, who knows? Again, do I think he leaves in 2026? I don't know. I mean, he could retire from the WWE and he could make, I don't know, maybe a one-off appearance in TNA. I would love to see him in his career in TNA, just because it just makes too much sense. But I'd be for it. I'd be for a Bullet Club. I mean, you could add in JD, AJ Styles, Finn Balor. To start that group, I think will be great. I would have them as baby faces though, and I would have them be the ones to oppose Seth's group, because Seth's group right now is the big bad. So you don't really need two different heel factions on Raw. So I think I would make the Bullet Club faces to oppose Seth's groups. I'd be all for it, honestly. I really would be. They definitely need to do something with AJ Styles, because, like I said, right now, the current position that he's in right now, I'm not realistically a fan of it. I could see him being Intercontinental Champion. I'm fine with that, but just the whole story right now, or whatever you want to call it, with Dom, I'm just not really a fan of it right now.
So all in 2026, AJ Styles Ospreay final dance? I don't think so. I don't think you bring AJ Styles in just for a one-off Ospreay match.
I don't even think he would be a fan of that himself. Yeah, he would want to do more.
Yeah, he would definitely want to build something up with Ospreay. I mean, I know you could probably build something up with Ospreay, but then you would have to bring AJ in for like 3 months, because right now, again, not to get into the AEW talk, but right now with the way AEW is building their storylines and attempting to build storylines, it seems like things like your bigger things, like your world title matches, they're getting like the 4 to 6 month build, to where your smaller things, even like one-on-one matches that are non-titles, are like your typical 2 month 60, like between 30 and 60-day builds, and I don't think AJ would want to be for it either. I don't. So, I mean, a couple of little things that we had on Raw. American Made, the Creed brothers nonchalantly said that Chad Gable was hurt and pretty much came out and said that he was El Grande Americano because El Grande Americano had a match tonight. But then the Kabuki Warriors, they were announced that they're going to be in the Fatal 4-Way match for the women's tag team titles at Evolution, which we're going to talk about in a few moments. And then El Grande Americano took on Dragon Lee, beat Dragon Lee. Do you have any thoughts on this real quick?
No, I don't. No.
That's fine. Becky Lynch, Lyra, and Bailey. Do you have any thoughts on that? They really didn't move forward with anything in that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I think it'd be a good triple threat match, but they didn't really progress anything here with this promo.
Yeah. And then we got a Nikki Bella Battle Royal, entering the Battle Royal at Evolution.
I don't want to give any more energy to Nikki Bella.
I can really freaking care less that Nikki Bella is involved in this Battle Royal. I don't give a shit. That's Monday Night Raw from Providence, Rhode Island on July 7th, 2025. Cam, we got a couple we got one PLE and one non-PLE coming up. I got to bring up both cards, actually. WWE Saturday Night Main Event, July 2025. I want to see if they actually have a card made up for this because I don't know if they do or not. Jesus. Let's just talk about the main focuses, Cam. Saturday night's main event, world title match, Gunther and Goldberg. I can't get my words out. Gunther and Goldberg, world title at Saturday night's main event. I know you're not caring too much about this. I mean, honestly, I get it that Goldberg wants to have that last match. I get that. But again, does this really need to be for the world title?
No.
Does it? I mean, I think the more exciting match that's going to be on this card is the LA Knight and Seth Rollins match. It's definitely more, to look forward to than the world title match. But Cam, I guess the big question would be is, with the success of LA Knight on Monday Night Raw the past couple weeks and coming out and getting the ovation that he's been getting, do you think at the end of the day he could possibly walk standing tall at Saturday night's main event? And do you think Seth Rollins might get the put over?
I think Seth Rollins will get the win here. I mean, he's a briefcase holder right now, so I think they're going to make him look as good as possible until he cashes in, which I still think will potentially be at SummerSlam. So no matter who is in that match.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it, and I don't know why my screens aren't refreshing. That's why I couldn't bring up the Saturday night's main event card for some reason. And that's why I'm trying to remember things that are happening at Saturday night's main event, because for some reason my shit's not refreshing on me. And nothing wants to come up. And it's kind of pissing me off. So, yeah, I think Seth Rollins goes over here too. I really do. I think he goes over. I think that he wins this match. And again, my prediction is Jey Uso wins the world title, but Seth Rollins cashes in. That's all there is to it. That's my thought. I don't think they again, LA Knight could have a lot of success on Monday Night Raw moving forward, but as far as coming up on Saturday night's main event, I think he doesn't go over. So as far as Evolution, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, should they main event for the world title?
I think so. I think they've built it up a lot, especially tonight. I mean, they're going all the way back to their developmental days. They're going back to their NXT days. Rhea Ripley has not been able to pick up a victory over Io Sky to this point, which to me, I think Rhea's going over. Once again, like I said, they go back to their major players on Raw. Like I said, the Seth Rollins, the Rhea Ripleys, the Judgment Days. They go back to those people. And for me, that's playing it safe. I think they're not really wanting to throw a wrench into the plans. And again, like I said, like I brought up the idea of this potentially going further with Seth Rollins and LA Knight, and then potentially putting the the briefcase on the line and having LA Knight win it. Shock us all. So I feel like they need to take chances more
just on certain storylines and things that change hands, like titles and briefcases and things like that. So, but no, I see Rhea coming out of this on top. But I definitely see this being the match, the main event.
I think their biggest move right now is to get the world title on Rhea Ripley, because Io Sky has had 2 world title reigns and has not been hitting. First one didn't hit. Second one is not hitting. She defended that championship once, and that was at WrestleMania. That was it. Has not defended that championship since. We're talking 3 months, I believe, to the day. No. April 20th was, or April 19th was when she defended it, or April 20th, one of the 2 days she defended it on. But it's literally almost 3 months to the day since she's defended that championship. It's not hitting. She hasn't had really any storylines and building up towards anything. Get the belt off Rhea, I think, or get the belt off her, put it on Rhea. I think they would have a lot more success when it comes to the women's world title if it's on Rhea Ripley. That's bottom line. We're going to have a fatal 4-way for the women's tag team titles. I mean, we know they got to do a lot with these women's tag team titles. They got to find something to hit, because right now, even with it being on the Judgment Day, it's not hitting. And that's the same, like you said earlier, it's the same with the men's. It's not hitting. They need to figure out something with the tag team division. We're going to have a battle royal. Nikki Bella is going to be the special guest. There's one hope with this, Cam, and I'm going to say this, and I do want to get your opinion on this. I don't care who wins this battle royal as long as Nikki Bella does not. Your thoughts?
Wins the who title?
No, I said with the battle royal.
Oh,
I said,
no.
I said I don't care who wins, just as long as Nikki Bella does not.
No, I don't think she's winning it. Again, I think they're just putting her in, much like they're having, Trish versus Tiffany Stratton. It's just they're putting her in there because she's an enhancement name. She's a name from the past, and they never got an all women's pay-per-view during her time, with her and Brie and old Twin Magic and all that. Same thing with Trish Stratus. They really didn't even take women's wrestling serious during Trish Stratus's, height, in her day. So, they're giving them those opportunities in there. Probably to sell more tickets. I'm sure. Throw some familiar faces in there. So now I don't see her winning. I think the spotlight that they gave Stephanie Vaquer tonight, I think Stephanie's going to be the one. I think she's a shoe-in to win this battle royal. Again, like right now, that seems to be, other than Rhea or Io, I think that's going to be their next really big name on Raw for the Raw Women's Division. So I see Stephanie pulling this out. I don't really see Nikki winning this at all.
So I'm stupid because I was trying to pull the cards up on my computer and nothing was hitting, and I completely forgot I had my phone in front of me. I could have just pulled the card up on my phone. We're almost live 4 hours, Cam. Okay. And this is what I said was, these streams are long. These streams are very long. And this is why every time I debate about doing a follow-a-thon on my TikTok for like Fortnite streaming, like a 24-hour follow-along, I don't know if I'd be able to make it. Like, I'm getting older, man. Like, it's to that point. And sitting in this chair isn't a fucking picnic when you have a bad back and a bad knees and bad everything. So we talked about the Women's World Championship, Raquel, Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus. That's another one too. I'm not too psyched for that match. I could care freaking less. Like, Tiffany Stratton, she just needs to win this match. Like, I will say this, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on this. And there are 2 more matches we can quickly talk about too. But I will say this. Jade Cargill and Naomi can open this pay-per-view with their no holds barred. Okay? They could. Who cares who goes over? Whether it's Jade, whether it's Naomi. It should be Naomi, because why? She's holding the briefcase. She's on a path to win a world championship right now. Much deserved. Even though I'm not a fan of her, I'm still going to say much deserved. She should go out on top, and then maybe Naomi later on cashes in on Tiffy. How would you feel about that?
The same night?
Yeah, why not?
I could see it. I'm not opposed to it. I don't see why
Cash in
not.
that briefcase, win the world title on Evolution. Why not?
I could see it.
So
I mean, in terms of Jade and Naomi, though, I'm the opposite. I could see Jade winning this. Like I said, I think they're
Okay.
really trying to push Jade.
definitely.
They're putting their foot foot to the pedal all the way when it comes to Jade right now. And like I said, if you ask me, they're getting a late start because they pretty much had to pump the brakes on her early on, and they put her in a tag team with Bianca. They won the tag team titles twice. So they're definitely trying to really push this singles run for her right now. She's the queen of the ring right now. She won Queen of the Ring, so I could see that happening. Because they're really trying to push the babyface. It's not going to hurt Naomi. Naomi is still the heel. She's still, the ultimate opportunist, if you will, for the women's division, holding the briefcase. So she could take a loss here and it wouldn't hurt her because she could lose this match here and then cash in on Tiffany the same night. So she really doesn't need the win necessarily.
Seth did it back at WrestleMania.
There you go.
WrestleMania 31, lost to Orton in the, I believe, second match of the night. Cashed in Money in the Bank, walked out as world champion. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Last one, Becky, Bayley, Lyra. I mean, I see Becky walking out with this title. I see Becky retaining. There's too many problems between Bayley and Lyra right now to where even if they would decide to double team Becky and try and take her out of the equation, Becky can be laying on the floor the whole fucking match and then come in and sneak in and steal the win. I don't see Becky losing that belt, not even anytime soon. I feel like they lost the momentum, and I said this at the beginning of the summer. They could make this the summer of Lyra to where she loses the belt to Becky. Becky holds it throughout the summer, build Lyra up even more than they've already been building her up. And then at SummerSlam, it culminates, or even Clash in Paris, to where it culminates to her getting the belt back, thus being the Summer Lyra. Bayley coming back, did it hurt this? No. But at the same time, yes. Because they could have had all that focus on Lyra, and now I feel like they're kind of doing it with Jacob Fatu with the United States title over on SmackDown. Your thoughts?
Like I said, I definitely think this could be a great triple threat match. I do think it's going to be a good triple threat match for sure. And then after this, I mean, I really don't know what else is there to explore with these three.
Nothing.
So I think this should be the finale. I think
blow
for these
off.
three. The blow off for these three. I agree with you. I think Becky retains. Makes no sense to drop the title to either Bayley or Lyra. And then she moves on to something else. I don't know about you, but I'm liking moving on to maybe Becky and Asuka for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think that would be entertaining. So
I'd be down for it.
Yeah, move Becky on to something else. I think she can do great things for the Intercontinental Championship and the mid card. Like I said, right now I'm liking starting to like Becky as a heel right now. Just as long as, like I said, she does not revert back to like a big time Bex thing, because that was awful. If she just keeps it how she is right now, I have no problems with it. So
she's killing it right now as a heel. She is. This second rendition of her being a heel is great. And it's much better than the big time Bex thing.
Yeah,
it is. I have a slight problem with the Asuka thing, though. One small problem. Okay. And this is what I would fear. Is they just reunited the Kabuki Warriors. What if they went down the same path with Kairi and Asuka that they are with Lyra and Bayley right now?
Well, see, that's why I had a problem with them putting back the Kabuki Warriors based off of them basically rebooting Kairi and bringing back the Pirate Princess and all that. Yeah. They should realistically keep Kairi and Asuka, for that matter, separate. Asuka just came back. They really need to rebuild her hype and her buzz. Kairi, like I said, they're hitting the reboot on her. Keep them separate. They should just be like a one-off thing, just for the sake of Evolution and to fill out that fatal 4-way for the tag team titles. So if it comes down to what I just said, Asuka and Becky, it would just be them for the Intercontinental Championship. So
yeah, but that's what I mean is like, again, it should have been Lyra and Becky, and then Bayley got involved. My biggest fear is Kairi gets involved, because Kairi, being on her own now, wants to go after the Intercontinental title, and her and Asuka are kind of a friends, and not officially a tag team, but they're friends and they get in each other's way. That would be my slight fear, is them getting in each other's way. You know what I mean? But sense. I'm not against Asuka. I'm definitely not. So I honestly wouldn't mind seeing if Io drops the world title to Rhea, Io going after it. But then that would be my fear with Io. What if Io, some way, shape, or form, gets involved with Kairi and Asuka again, and they get in her way? Like, it's just that vicious little cycle that could possibly happen. Not saying it's going to, could possibly, but I wouldn't be against Asuka, Io, or Kairi. So, last thing, Cam, because I do have it on this day real quick. I came across this and I realized that there is some history that happened on July 7th that's huge. Okay. Now, we talked about this back in February of this year. And today is the 29, I believe, 2006, 2016, 2026, the 29-year anniversary of this in history. You ready for this one?
Okay.
1996 WCW Bash at the Beach was held at Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, in front of 8,300 fans. The main event of the night was billed as the Hostile Takeover match, as Team WCW, Randy Savage, Sting, and Lex Luger faced off against the Outsiders, and the mystery third man was later revealed. The heel turn of one immortal Hulk Hogan.
That's huge. Okay.
Now, part of me was kind of like, do I wait until next year to do this one? But no, this is in history of today, 29 years ago. So, Cam, my question for you is the heel turn of Hulk Hogan being the third man, what type of impact did this make for the history of professional wrestling?
Oh, it changed professional wrestling forever. Again, you take somebody like a Hulk Hogan, who was just a forever babyface, probably the original babyface of professional wrestling, and you turn him heel. Like, nobody saw that coming. I mean, I hear stories upon stories upon stories about people who were professional wrestling fans during that time, and I mean, people were, they were tearing down Hulk Hogan posters off their walls. They were calling into the station pissed off that Hogan did this. I mean, it was crazy. It was wild. It literally flipped wrestling on its head for forever. And like I said, and then down the line, like I said, the NWO, which was created from this, became one of the most popular heel factions of all time. And it is the reason why a lot of us like heels nowadays anyways, because the heels just became the cool bad guys.
Cool.
So,
yep. Yeah. I mean, from the start of this happening to Hogan saying you are looking at the new world order of professional wrestling, to the riots that happened backstage in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where the cops and fire department were actually getting called, and everything else in between. Like, this definitely changed the course and history of professional wrestling back in the time. And then you think 29 years later, Mr. Babyface himself, John Cena, turns heel and changed the whole course and history of professional wrestling in the modern era. So I literally was not going to look at that today, and then I literally just pulled it up 10 minutes ago, and I was like, we need to fucking talk about this. This has got to happen. So, yeah, it definitely did change the course and the history of professional wrestling, because Hogan wanted to turn heel back after WrestleMania 6, I believe, when he took on Warrior. He said to Vince, and he's claimed this, so that's why I'm saying he said this. He said, well, how about this? Why doesn't, since Warrior's winning and he's going over, he's going to be holding both belts. As I'm walking back, I stop midway, go back, and then I attack him and turn heel. And Vince wasn't for it. Well, Vince, you missed out. You missed out because you got the back end, pretty much dead version of the NWO when you brought him back in 2002.
Yeah.
Fucking Vince. Fucking Vince. I'll just say that. Guys, that's it. That's all we got for you. Before we get out of here, we're going to shout our stuff out. With that being said, Cam, your socials are on the bottom, sir. And I'm going to let everybody know. Cam's Wrestling Corner. Go check out all the videos over on TikTok. This man makes some great videos, and I'm not just saying that because he's digitally sitting next to me. He makes great videos over on Cam's Wrestling Corner on TikTok. Cam, what do you want to let the people know?
Well, of course, go check that out, obviously. And then check us out, obviously, Wednesday night. when we'll be back talking about we'll be back for the boom, talking about AEW Dynamite, the go home show for All In, giving our All In predictions as well. Very busy week for us as content creators. There's a lot going on with Saturday Night's Main Event, All In, Evolution, and so forth. So a lot going on. We'll do our best to cover as much of it as humanly possible. So stay tuned for all that. Sometime this week, probably tomorrow afternoon, we'll be recording for our WWE LFG talk and breakdown of episode 3. So stay tuned for that as well. So yeah, and then check us out next week, back for another watch along, and of course Monday Night Raw and the table spot breakdown. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate you guys coming out and checking out the stream tonight.
As long as I don't get threat of a bad thunderstorm and a tornado coming through to knock my power out, we'll be recording our LFG reactions tomorrow for this week. Yeah. It'll happen. That's what happened last week. We had the threat of power going out and tornado warnings and all this stuff, and we ended up moving our recording to Thursday.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't happen. We kind of are in the line, and my mom told me this a little bit ago. We are in the line for some severe thunderstorms, possibly overnight, if not tomorrow, but we'll face that issue when we get there. But as of right now, recording is tomorrow. But make sure you're following Cam on social media. Yes, big week for content creating for us. And we're going to do our best to give you what we can. Because of All In on Saturday, because of Saturday Night's Main Event, because of Evolution. We're going to do what we can to make sure you guys get the best content that we can give you this week. So Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch, Xbox, Metal Mike 714 is where you can find me. Like Cam said, Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite, we are on the boom, making our all-in predictions for the go-home show. We are back here next Monday night for the watch-along, and then the table spot. And then on Sunday, John is making his illustrious return to the Huddle Hub Podcast, twitch.tv/the Huddle Hub Podcast, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Sunday, we go live. We are going to be focusing. We are going to be doing like a team build-up thing to going into the 2025 season. We're not just doing it team by team. We are doing it division by division. So this week, we may be highlighting the AFC East, the AFC West, South, North, or the NFC South, East, West, or North. We're going to pick a division. We're going to highlight each team in it and talk about that. We're not doing predictions, but we're going to be doing like a introduction, team build, talk about the team, what they could be facing this year, stuff like that. Plus, we're going to talk about the news coming out of the past 2 weeks because I didn't go live on Sunday. I took the day off. I needed to rest. I was going to the movies and everything. So we're going to have a jam-packed show on Sunday, twitch.tv/the Huddle Podcast. You can check out the replays of the show over on the YouTube channel at the Huddle Pod. And all the links to our socials are in the bio over on the Twitch. Appreciate everybody coming out for the watch along. Appreciate everybody sticking around for the table spot. As I always say, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. We'll see y'all Wednesday night for the boom. Deuces.